Human has two traits within them which are good and evil. Some people say that human was born with a good trait, but the others said it was evil. What do you think? Is human born with a good trait or an evil one? As for me, I believe that human was born with the evil trait. Why? Because since we were young, our parents, friends, best friend, and family always reminded us to do a good thing, whether it's a verbal or a real action. Why? Maybe because they thought that the evil trait always laid inside a human being instead of a good one. That's why, since our childhood until our adulthood, we always been taught to do a good thing to cover up our evil trait with the good one. I often heard of people that say they know me so well. Some of them said that I was a good person, but the others said that I was a bad one. Sometimes I was wonder, like how could they say that I was a good or bad person? Was it because what I had said to them, or maybe my attitude towards them? I actually amazed by them, who could judge me that way, because I, myself, was still confused how to do it. Look at them, that could easily judge others reminded me of people that only saw someone just from their cover. Meanwhile, the inner was unseen. Strange, right? There were people who thought that I was a good person because I had always been nice, always shared, and helped them. Meanwhile, they didn't even know my thought when I helped them. I helped them because I wanted to cover up my evil side so they didn't see it. And also, I wanted them to think that I was a good person. It turned out that being known as a good person was pretty profitable. There were also people who thought that I was a bad person because I was egoist, ignorant, and never helped them. Meanwhile, they didn't even know what I was taught. I didn't want to help them and keep being an egoist because I was so tired to see people who took advantage of other people's kindness. They would never know how much it hurt until they experienced it themselves. But thanks to them, we were able to know our own traits. Once, I was pretty sure that I was a good person. But that belief slowly faded when I encountered with someone that I met when I was walking in the middle of the city. Let me share my experience when I met with that person. One time, the sky was in the orange with a bit reddish color on it, represented that it was already evening. I walked across crowded city street. People was busy with their own work. So do I, that was enjoying playing with my handphone. Suddenly, in front of me, there was a person who seemed like a good person drop her things. And because I saw it, then I called for her. Excuse me, you dropped this. Oh, thank you, said that person. Because I am a good person, then I help you, I answered. But suddenly the look at the good person's face started to change into a confusion. She suddenly said, "There's no good person who claim that they are a good person." I was so confused about what she said to me. because the other people said that I was a good person. So why she just say something like that? Was that mean that I wasn't a good person? But after I heard that person's words, I sat pensively and drank my drink at the park in the middle of a crowded city. But I didn't know why my heart felt so lonesome. In the opposite park bench beside me, there was a person who seemed like a bad person who was stared at my direction with the unknown gaze in the person's eyes. With unfriendly tone, I asked that person, "Excuse me, why did you keep staring at me?" "Oh, I'm sorry if what I did is bothering you, but I only wanted to ask if I can have some of your drink because I'm thirsty and I don't have enough money to buy it," replied that person with a begging gaze. "How could you not even able to buy a drink? Here, just take it," I answered. Thank you so much. You are truly a good person. I'm so lucky to meet you," said that person with a happy face. "I'm a bad person, not a good one," I said cynically. That person smiled at me and said, "People who claim that they are a bad person are usually a people who cover up that they are a good person." Like a fish hit by a tuba, I was so confused. Why did that person say that? Even though I had spoken in a harsh tone like a bad person. Is it possible that I was a good person? People that I met today are so funny. The day was getting dark. I rushed to go home. Because it was late, the street looked very quiet, not as busy in the afternoon. There were only a few people left on the street. This lonely atmosphere made my heart so much lonelier. It just reminds me of what people said to me. To accompany my way back home, I put on my earphone and played the playlist of my favorite songs. When I was listening to a song, suddenly there was an old woman who had just gotten out of a taxi. She looked confused. Seeing that old woman was confused, I immediately walked to her and asked, "Excuse me, Mrs. Why do you look so confused? Is there anything I can do for you?" I asked. "Oh, kid, actually, I want to go home, but it is the wrong way. Maybe it's because I'm already aged, so I easily forget something. By the way, do you know this place?" "Oh, yes, I know this place. Let me take you there." "I'm sorry to bother you, kid." "It's okay, Mrs. I'm not bothered at all. I also wanted to get that way." "Oh, I see. Thank you so much." Finally, I accompanied that old woman to her house. Along the way to her house, we talked quite a lot, even though we were just mad by why we felt so close. We were just talking about where we lived, our name, our family. But after that, she started to talk about her daily life, including what happened with us this afternoon. After she heard about what happened to me this afternoon, she just smiled and patted my hands. That old woman said, People only want to say what they wanted to say. You can assume what kind of person they are as you want. Also, can assume what kind of person you are. The more people you meet, the more you will hear different words from their mouths. Just be yourself. I heard what that old woman said to me, and I understood why those people told me like that. It turned out that people only believe with what they had seen and what they already believed. Soon after that, finally we arrived at her house. She thanked me for took her home. Before she entered her house, she patted my shoulder and said, "Don't be easily swayed if you hear people who say different things with you, because everyone has a different mindset. Just be sure and believe in yourself." After saying that, she entered her house, and I started to continue my way back home. That was a trip that I will remember forever. So, what do you think about the story of my experience? For me, that is a journey of life to evaluate ourselves. Don't believe with others too easily. They only say what they want to say, whereas we only want to hear what we want to hear. No one can judge us except ourselves. Although at the first it is difficult and confusing, but what is wrong if you're trying? Remember that only you who know yourself very well. In this world, only one person who knows you so well, and that person is yourself. No matter how long we know and we make friends with others, no matter how well we know them, we still can't understand their thoughts, feelings, and also themselves. But there is a sentence I had heard. If you want to know what kind of person you are, just ask someone who knows you well. But it depends with whom we ask, because if we want to hear about our good side, just ask to someone who likes us. Because when we like someone and we are happy to be with that person, what we think is only the good side of that person, which makes ourselves comfortable with them, and we never think about their evil side. And if we want to hear about our evil side, just ask to that person who had or don't like us. Because if we don't like or we hate someone, we only think about their evil side that makes us hate and feel uncomfortable around them. And also, we never think about their good side. Why the others can judge us? Because they are the one who receive what we gave to them. However, the choice is within us. We want to be a good person or a bad person.